Hello students, let us move on to the next concept, that is gas laws. Okay, before we talk about the gas law, let us understand what is a gas. Okay, what is the pressure due to gas and what is external pressure. So we'll consider a container, we'll consider this container in which gas particles are there. These are the gas particles. Okay, so this is how the distance of separation will be there, and these gas particles will be in a continuous random motion. Okay, this is what the gas in a container means. Here gas particles, understand that gas particles are in continuous random motion. This is gas particle, it is in a continuous random motion. Can you guess the reason why they are in continuous random motion, why they are more free to move? Because since there is negligible force of attraction. Okay, I'll change this setup. Let's say this is the container and this is the lead which is there. Here this is the lead which is there. Now this is moving. This is, let's say this is, now I have fixed this lead. Okay, this is this lead is fixed. We'll consider this. It is not moving. And let's say it is locked over here. It is not moving. Now pressure due to gas. Now I'll tell you about what is a pressure due to gas. Pressure due to gas. Now since these particles are in a continuous random motion, they are going to go and hit on the walls of the container or collide on the walls of the container. All these particles are going to go and collide on the walls of the container. So pressure of the gas, pressure due to gas, or a pressure of the gas, we'll say pressure of gas is due to what? Due to collision of gas particles on walls of container, means same amount of the gas. If I put in a small container, let's say this is the same amount. Let's say here there are 50 dots like this. I'm just saying that this is also 50. If I put same number of molecules, same amount of the gas in a smaller container, the collision frequency will be more. Means here the pressure will be more. Pressure of the gas. Now there is something called as an external pressure. Means this is P external, this is external. This may be due to atmosphere, it may be atmospheric pressure, or you put some weight on this, you remove this lock. What will happen? It will go down, it will compress the gas. Now just say that you are putting some external pressure and you are compressing this gas. You are storing it at a smaller volume. You are storing that gas at a smaller volume. What will happen? A pressure of the gas is going to increase. So gas laws are about all these things. First, what I am doing, I am changing the volume. Now just understand the situation. I am supplying a heat to this, right? Means if I supply a heat to this, kinetic energy or the movement of the particle will increase. That will also lead to the increase in the pressure of the gas. There are many parameters we are going to change while learning the gas law. So you understood what is the meaning of the pressure of the gas. It is due to the collision on the walls of the container, that is the pressure of the gas, and there may be another pressure which is external pressure. It may be atmospheric pressure or that pressure which you are putting. Yes. So let's start with a gas law. So first law, what we are going to do over here is a Boyle's law. Boyle's law. Law states that pressure pressure of a fixed mass of gas. Fixed mass means this tells about the amount of the gas. Also, this also tells amount of gas. So pressure of fixed mass of gas at constant temperature, is inversely proportional to, inversely proportional to volume of the gas. Means you decrease the volume, pressure will increase. You increase the pressure, volume will decrease. It is that kind of thing. So what I'll form the relation over here, pressure is inversely proportional to volume, right? So to remove this proportionality sign, we put a constant proportionality, constant PV, right? What do we understand from this is that PV is equal to K, means a product of the pressure and volume is constant. I'll discuss about a small setup. Let's discuss this setup. Let's say there is a container like this with a free moving lid like this, okay, and then there is a gas, this is a gas, right? Let's say over here the volume which is there, it is 10 is the volume, and the pressure, external pressure on this, okay, external pressure is P1 is 2. The external pressure which is applied is 2. Now what you do? Now you increase the pressure, external pressure. You are putting some pressure external. So what will happen? Obviously this lid will go down. This lid will go down, isn't it? So external pressure, or sorry, what I meant to say is that this is the volume V, and this is the pressure of the gas. Pressure is 2, pressure of the gas is 2, not external pressure, okay, pressure is 2. Now you decrease the volume, by some means you decrease the volume, that is V2. You are decreasing the volume to maybe something 5. The volume V2 is decreasing to 5. 5 will be this, no, earlier half. I am making it half. Now volume is V2 is 5. What will be a pressure P2 inside for the same amount of the gas? The amount of this gas and this gas is same. It will be obviously more because there will be more collision taking on the walls of the container. So how much that is? I'll write that to be is equal to 4. Right? Now what you do? You decrease the volume more. You decrease this volume to this extent. Let's say you are decreasing the volume V3 to be something 2. What would be a pressure P3? Now the pressure will be still more, right? So what do you understand? The product of the P1 V1 is 20. 10 into 2 is 20. P2 V2 is again 20. P3 V3 over here, P3 V3 is again 20. Now I have taken this example. I have chosen this value 10, 2, 5, 4 to 10 for simplicity, to make this concepts calculations simple. So is it that there are only 3 stages? No, there are infinite amount of the stages where you can change the volume by putting some pressure, external pressure. So what will happen is that every time you apply a pressure and change the volume, the pressure, okay, the volume and the pressure will adjust itself in such a way that the product is always constant. Product is always constant. That's why we say this P1 V1 will be is equal to P2 V2, which is equal to P3 V3. This is a whole Boyle's law. You apply a You change the volume to such an extent, whatever may be the volume, pressure will adjust in a such a way that what happens? The product of the pressure and volume is constant, that is P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. So here you can see that pressure has increased. As you decreasing the volume, pressure is increasing because the collision inside this small volume, the frequency of the collision, now more number of particles are hitting and colliding on the walls of the container. That's why the pressure has increased. Now let's understand this from the graph. Let's relate this with respect to the graph. So first graph I'll draw of the P versus V. P versus V. This is the curve which you are going to get. This is the curve which you are going to get. Why? Pressure, this is the curve which tells about the inverse relation. This is the curve which tells about the inverse relationship between the pressure and volume. Now the whole law, if you see, what does the law say is that the pressure is inversely proportional to volume at a constant temperature. Means this whole curve which is done, this is at a some temperature T1. Okay, so this curve is called as a like, let's say you took the volume, you set this pressure to be this much, that time volume was this much. You decrease the pressure, volume will increase. I am just showing the opposite. You decrease the pressure, volume will be increasing. You decrease the pressure, volume will be increasing. You decrease the pressure, volume will be increasing. That is what it says. Let's say this is at temperature T1 and let's say this temperature, another same set, but you are doing the experiment at some temperature T2, at some temperature T2. So that time this will be the pressure. If this is the pressure, this is the volume. This is the pressure, this will be the volume. The trend is same, but if I ask you which is greater, T2 is greater or T1 is greater, answer is T2 is greater than T1. Means this curve is greater than T1. Now it is about the work done. I'll tell you about the work done here only. See, work done from the graph. If you want to know the pressure, volume, the work done, then it is work done, I will say that it is directly proportional to area under the curve. Area under the curve. What is work done? Work done is also given this way. Work done is also given this way. Pressure into volume or a change in volume, right? So this is what the work done over here, the directly proportional to area under the curve. Means which curve is having the more area under the curve? T2 is this curve, this curve, this experiment we done, this is having the more area under the curve than this, right? This one. So now let's talk about this. If there is a temperature, let's say there is a gas like this. Okay, this is at temperature, let's say this is a temperature T1 which is equal to 40 degrees Celsius. Okay, same type of container, same volume, initial volume is same amount of the gas, but here the temperature is something 80 degree Celsius. Right? Now to compress this, now you want to compress and get it over here. Let's say you want to get it over here, and this also you want to compress it and get it over here. In which case you will require more energy, more amount of the work you will be doing. In which case you are going to do a more amount of the energy. Obviously, since the temperature is more over here, this particle will be exerting more pressure on the outside. So you will require more amount of the energy to do this. Right, more amount of the pressure you will have to put. Means over here to get this down over here will be from here to here, more will be the work done. So it is this T2 is higher than T1. Like then if this is the curve, then this is called as T3 is higher. So T3 is greater than T1. then T2, and this is T1, right? This is what the whole Boyle's law is. Now one more graph which is very important. One more graph which is very important over here is this. What would be a graph of pressure versus 1 by V? The relation is this: P is directly proportional to, or sorry, inversely proportional to V. Pressure is K 1 by V, right? What is this? This is like an equation of a straight line, right? Y is equal to mx plus c, but here c is 0, right? If I write this, it is this equation plus 0 I am writing, but c is 0 over here in this equation. If we relate this equation to a straight of line, equation of a straight line, right? Y is equal to mx plus c. So what is y component over here? Pressure. What is slope? K. And what is x? 1 by V. So this is the graph with what? 0 intercept. What is the equation of the line with a 0 intercept? It is this: y is equal to just mx, equation of a straight line passing through origin. This is the equation of a line, passing through origin, right? So I will get a straight line graph this way. So this is my T3, T2 and T1. Means this set of experiment is conducted at temperature T3. This set of experiments are conducted at temperature T2. This set of experiments is conducted at temperature T1. See, inverse, what I can say is that pressure is directly proportional to 1 by V and not V. It is inversely proportional to V and directly proportional to 1 by V. That's why this kinds of graph we are getting when we are plotting a P versus 1 by V. What would be a graph? What would be a graph of a PV versus, what would be a graph of PV versus V? Means if this is my PV and this is V, what kind of graph you are going to get? See, you increase the volume, the product of the pressure, you change the volume, the product of the pressure and volume is always remaining constant. So this kind of graph you are going to get, right? If the graph is between log of P versus log of V, let's plot a graph of log of P versus log of V. We have a relation PV is equal to K, right? And if I take a log on both sides, log of PV is equal to log of K. So log of P plus log of V is equal to log of K. So pressure and volume, if you see, then this is log of P is equal to log of, this is minus log of V plus log of K, right? How we can draw a graph for this log of P versus, and there is an intercept, and this is minus V. How we can draw a graph for this? So graph will be negative over here. The graph for this, if you want to plot a graph of log of P versus log of V, the graph should fall this way, minus log of V, and this is the slope of the graph, which is equal to minus log of K will be the slope of the graph, right? So these are the possible graphs one should know for the Boyle's law and their relation, and many sets which we write over here. Let's say this we write, this is T3, T2, T1, this is pressure and this is volume. This set of graph are called as isotherms. Next is Charles' law. Next is Charles' law. Now Charles law, simple. I'll write two definitions of this, two laws for this. One is simple and one is slightly complex. Have a look at this. Now we have discussed the previously Boyle's law, pressure volume relationship. Here volume temperature relationship. Understand, this is a volume temperature relationship at constant pressure. Last was Boyle's law was volume pressure relationship at a constant temperature. Now this is volume temperature relationship at a constant pressure. What does it say is that volume of a fixed mass of a gas, fixed mass of gas is fixed mass of gas at constant pressure is directly proportional to the temperature, directly proportional to temperature. This is one statement, means you increase the volume, so you increase the temperature. Let's say there is a free moving block, there is a container, this is a free moving lid, and there is I'll show it this way. There is a container like this. Here is the container, here is the gas, and this is temperature T1. Let's say this temperature is something 40 degrees Celsius. Just taking an example. If you increase the temperature of this, you make it 60 degrees Celsius, what will happen? A gas will expand because kinetic motion is increasing, so it will have this volume, right? You increase the temperature again, let's say you are making this temperature to be something 80 degrees Celsius, so again this will expand. In simple terms, this is what I can say. This is what according to the Charles law is, means as you increase the temperature, what happens? The volume increases of the gas. Why volume increases? The kinetic motion, because at higher temperature this particle tend to move with a more speed, so it will push the lid down, push the lid up, and the volume is going to increase over here. Now why volume? All these things happens at a constant pressure. You can see this is at a constant pressure. I have mentioned same amount. Okay, these dots which I have shown, it may be varying one or two here and there, but it is the same amount of the gas. Okay, it is same amount of the gas. The pressure is constant, pressure is not changing. It is like when we cook in a open pan, we are cooking at a atmospheric pressure. The heat is given to the substance and the lid of that utensils come on top, means pressure is maintained. So here also pressure is same, here also pressure is same. Why pressure is same although the molecular motions are increasing? Why pressure is same? Because volume is expanding, so pressure is constant over here. This is the whole summary of the Charles law. What we can say is that volume is volume is directly proportional to temperature. V is equal to kT. Therefore, V by T is equal to K. Means ratio of the volume by temperature is going to remain constant. There is, to go into the more depth of this, there is one more statement. I will write that statement first, and will write this law around that statement. The statement says that at constant pressure, same it is, don't worry. There was also constant pressure, here also in this statement also constant pressure. At constant pressure, the volume of a given mass of a gas, increases or decreases decreases by 1 by 273. 1 by 273 of its initial volume. Okay, of its volume or initial volume, of its volume at 0 degree Celsius, at 0 degree Celsius, 0 degree Celsius, for every rise or fall, for every rise or fall, rise or fall of 1 degree temperature, of 1 degree, rise or fall of 1 degree temperature. Okay, means if you increase the volume, means what, if you increase the temperature by 1 degree, what does it mean? The volume will increase by 1 by 273 of its initial volume. Let's say initial volume was something 100, and this is at temperature, let's say let's consider this temperature to be 0 degree. I'm just saying that this is 0 degree and the volume was 100. You increase this temperature by T2 temperature is 1 degree Celsius. What will happen to a new volume? V2 will be 100 plus 100 upon 100 into 173. Sorry, 273. So this will be the increase in the volume. Now you increase the temperature V3 by 1 more degree. What will be a V3? V3 will be V2 plus, what was V2? V2 was this 100 plus 100 by 273. I am writing by 273. This will be a V3, right? So then it is going to increase in that sense. So how do we formulate a law for this mathematical expression for this statement? It is the same, don't get confused. Volume T will be is equal to is directly proportional to the temperature, right? Is directly proportional to the temperature. Let's write this. V T is equal to new volume, that is new volume at temperature T will be V0 plus V0 upon 273 into the temperature. Like what is this temperature you have made? Like if you have increased 1 degree, then T is 1, 2 degree, then T is 2, then if T is 3, then T is 3. So this is also an important relation. See why we choose this temperature, we take it in Kelvin, that is 273.15 Kelvin, which is equal to 0 degree Celsius. We deal in Kelvin. So let's go into the more depth of this concept by taking the laws, by taking the graph. Okay, one more thing I'm doing over here is that by doing all these things, what we can say is that V2, V1 by T1 is equal to V2 by T2 is equal to V3 by T3. This is a simple relation which we have to know. And then there is something called as a 0 Kelvin. We have to understand this term also. 0 Kelvin is the 0 Kelvin. So what is the meaning of 0 degree Celsius? 0 degree Celsius is equal to 273.15 Kelvin, right? So now what is this? Minus 0 Kelvin means what? 0 Kelvin means minus 273 degree, right? So 0 Kelvin is something hypothetical. It is a hypothetical. Okay, 0 Kelvin by definition I will write is that hypothetical. First thing, it is the temperature at which gas will occupy zero volume, zero volume, 0 Kelvin. It is a temperature at which gas will occupy 0 volume. Now why gas is having a volume? What is the volume of the gas? Volume of the gas, I will say that this is a whole container and it is occupying the whole container. This volume, because of its motion, it is kinetic motion is there. Why? Because of the temperature. What do? You decrease the temperature to such an extent that all the motion ceases and you can compress that and keep it over here in a small volume. This volume will be negligible, actual volume, like all those particles you are compressing, it will settle down, it will no more move at a 0 Kelvin. You cannot achieve this temperature, but theoretically or hypothetically what we can say is that all the molecular motion will cease down, earlier the particle which were over here, it will settle down, cease down, and what will happen? You can compress it in a smallest volume, right? This volume is now negligible, so that's why the volume of the gas will become 0. That is what it means. Let us understand this law's a graphical representation of this. See, this law says about this: V, volume at temperature T, will be is equal to what? V naught, means volume at 0 degree, plus 1 by 273 into V naught. No, it is V naught or V0 into 1 by 273 into temperature T, right? So this is what the equation is, right? It is resembling to the equation of straight line. Y is equal to, this is mx and this is a c. Like if I want to plot a graph for this, understand this, I am going to plot it against what? Vt versus x is t and m is v naught by 273. V naught is also constant and 273 is also constant, so m is slope over here. So I'll draw this graph. Pay attention nicely. So this is 0. I'll write one scale which is 0 degree, which is in degree Celsius. Let's say this is 0 degree Celsius and this is 0 degree Celsius means 273.15 Kelvin, right? So I'll write this to be 273. So here I am writing this is to be 100, here 200, here 300. So what is this? 373, here it is 473 and 0.15 is there, of course. This is 573 Kelvin and this is degree Celsius. This scale is in degree Celsius, this is in Kelvin. Now if you go back, here it is minus 100 means 173. Okay, I'll just increase this. It is minus 100 means 173 Kelvin. Here it is minus 200 means 73 Kelvin. I want 0 Kelvin, no? I want a 0 Kelvin. What is the volume occupied at a 0 Kelvin? That is what we want to say, right? So this is somewhere minus 273 means it is 0 Kelvin, right? So this is the volume. If we go by this axis, this is what we are plotting. It is Vt, volume T, that is on a y axis. I am plotting it against a temperature T, right? I can take a degree Celsius or a Kelvin also. What is the intercept? V naught is the intercept. So from here, let's say this is first I'll do this. Let's say this distance from here to here, this is V naught and this is the curve. This is how the line is going to exist. Like I have shown the positive only, but if you extra plot it after 0 degree Celsius, it will go into the negative, and it is this, right? So what is this V naught? What is the slope of this line? Slope over here of this line will be is equal to V naught by 273. This is the slope. Like V naught is the intercept. Means as you go to a 0 Kelvin, what is volume? Volume, this axis is telling about the volume. Volume is falling to what? Volume is falling to 0. Right? So volume is falling to 0. So this is whole graph can be plotted for this equation. Since we are taking this in a what? We take this in a Kelvin, right? This will be a graph. Volume is becoming 0 over here. See this? On this axis, it is becoming 0. But it has certain value at a 0 degree Celsius or 273 Kelvin. This temperature is not achievable. This is hypothetical. Okay, if we say that if some by means if we can achieve this temperature, the volume of gas will fall to 0. That is what is the meaning of this. So that's how the whole equation. So we'll learn this in a more simple term. What it says is that volume is directly proportional to the temperature. If I want to plot a graph, of P is directly proportional. Volume is directly proportional to temperature. V is equal to kT. What does this say? This is a volume and this is the temperature. So this is the graph which we can draw. Right, and this is the slope. Like this graph is at certain pressure P. I am writing this P3 because I want to draw more curves over here, more lines. So this is at temperature, this is at constant pressure. No, this expansion of the gas happens at a constant pressure. This is pressure P3. You change the pressure, this kind of graph you are going to get, means another set of reading. This is pressure P2, this is pressure P1. 1 minute. I think I will write this. This is P3, this is P2, and this is P1. Why I'll say this? See, if pressure is high, understand it. P3 is higher than P2, and P1 is less over here. Means the pressure is high. If the pressure is high over here, the expansion won't take place very easily. With increase in temperature, very less expansion. Let's say I'll take this. I'll cross this. Let's draw this line. Okay. Let's say this is temperature. This is 0, and let's say this is a 20 degree Celsius. At 20 degree Celsius, you are doing this experiment. So at 20 degree Celsius, what will happen is that if the pressure is high, then there is only this much expansion is going to take place. Only this much expansion is going to take place. If pressure is little higher, pressure is little less, P2 is little less, so there is more expansion at the same temperature, and there is maximum expansion at least pressure. So this is what the curves are going to look for this, right? So P3 is more than P2, P2 is more than P1. What would be a graph of V versus 1 by T? V versus 1 by T. Can you predict the graph of the V versus 1 by T? We know that V is directly proportional to temperature at constant pressure. V is equal to kT. So what is this? I want V versus 1 by T. Right? V versus 1 by T is what? It will be an inverse relation. It will be inverse relation. Right? If you take this graph, it will be a inverse relation. What would be a graph of log of V versus log of T? This will be a graph of log of V versus log of T, and this is how the graph is going to look with zero intercept, right? Intercept will be 0. So many questions could be asked based on this graph, so you should know the relations and the logic very nicely over here.